Good evening, everyone. I'm here to do another reading. The energies are very strong. I don't typically get this much energy in one day. I'm on vacation right now, so that's probably why the Divine's taking advantage of my availability. So I went ahead and pulled some cards. We're going to be using the Floral Tarot today, the After Tarot, the Golden Tarot, my light language, and just a regular tarot here, the pink cards. So I have pulled the cards already, and I don't channel the message ahead of time, so we're just gonna get started here. Give me a sec. I've already smudged and cleansed and cleared the space. So if you would like to do the same, I'll give you a second here to set your intentions as well to receive, because there's always light language that I incorporate in my readings, that I channel as part of the reading, and it's also a gift from me to the viewers to assist with healing, clearing, removal of blockages, and just downloads for new codes and upgrading and things like that. So if you're open to receiving, just receive. If you're not, that's okay. All right, so I just received a balancing in my left ear, so that means that I believe there's been a clearing, release of a blockage on that left side. So I believe that our masculines and feminines involved here in this wave sorry, I should preface a little bit more. I channel for those who are very imminent or close to reunion, reconciliation. This is after doing all of the work in preparation for this next step. Typically, this will be for people who were already in some form of a connection with their divine counterpart and then had to step away from one another for a period of time in the physical. We're never separated spiritually or emotionally, telepathically. Always very, very strong in those areas, but certainly in order to allow us to do our work separately, we needed to allow each other to go our own way for a while to do the work. So anyhow, this is where we're at today. So I'm seeing here the Three of Wands, so we'll start there. Really was the main energy that I was picking up to start with here, and that's awaiting, right? So we're seeing a ship and a pen here, a feather and some ink, and Three of Wands typically represents a waiting period. So, they've been trying to really figure out the best way to communicate, because a lot of my readings recently have to do with communication that's imminent. So I'm channeling here that they know what they want to say now after a period of preparation. That's why they've been waiting, okay? And you see the ship is facing this way here. So obviously this is forward movement towards their divine counterpart, I'm getting. They've been waiting for the right moment, to create with the sacral chakra energy here, to create the perfect opportunity to create their space, to have their space like their living environment. And that also represents their life in the best possible way. No blockages. So that would represent person, place, or thing that would otherwise create issues. Or if there are people that they can't get rid of, like ex-partners, if there's children involved, they have better boundaries in place or feel like they can better manage those situations, because oftentimes those situations would have interfered in a very significant way in the past. This Knight of Wands, look how determined he looks. And I'm getting in the past, he acted in haste. Knight of Wands is typically can be on someone unstable, like in and out. Five of Cups here, I'm getting a lot of sadness, regrets. The blue droplets here remind me of tears, okay? Three-party situations, right? But this is the past to me because it's reversed. And these are the twins here that are standing up. And they're very strong and they're even and balanced. Look, after this period of waiting, doing the work, releasing all the tears and the pain and the suffering. And in the meantime, you know, for our wave anyhow, there would have been contact on and off. Perhaps your counterpart would have come in for a period of time. You would have had a period of communication, and then off they would go again and isolate and to go and deal with the next thing that would be surfaced, because we mirror what we need to heal when we come into contact with our twins, even if it's just a drive-by or you see them from a distance. I believe that it's all divinely orchestrated, and energetically we do pull each other in when we need to have each other in physical presence in order to have that what needs to be mirrored, to the other triggered. And then it surfaces, and then you need to do the work. And it's always a choice. Sometimes it can happen quickly, and sometimes it can take a while. But in this case, I feel like we're really, really close. So part of the anxiousness here too was the worry and the concern around manifesting what they really wish they want, like they know they want, what's at their heart, space in terms of desires. Nine of Cups is wishes and fulfillment of wishes. And my previous reading today spoke of that. And we see two spider webs here, right? So they were caught, and that's why they were in this Nine of Swords energy. And what happens in one's twin's life happens in the other, I feel. We often say, well, my counterpart's not here because he or she has to do this, and that's why. Well, if he or she has to do A, B, C, D, E, then we also have to do something that would mirror the exact same thing. So we are working together always, and it's never about pointing to the other person, even though there are things that they need to do. Okay, so this is why it's important to always focus on ourselves, hold space for that other person with love and light, but let them be and release. That's very difficult to do. It's very difficult to release when you still hold space for them. So it took me a very long time to understand that from a mind perspective, heart perspective, emotional perspective. So I feel like that's really been balanced out because there's a trust in that connection. There's a trust in that love. Both counterparts feel it. We know, we understand. The only thing is, I think, intuitively we know there's been things that have happened, but we just don't know for sure. We haven't received the confirmation in the physical. For some you may have, but for others, not so much. So the Chariot. See how these are the counterparts looking at each other. The Moon looking the opposite direction. This is in the past. Oh, and I'm just noticing here the Moon energy here. So there's a lot, like that's what I was just saying, right? There's a lot that we didn't know in the past. A lot that we didn't know in the past. But that's behind us now because of forgiveness that's coming in. Been channeling a lot about the forgiveness. We're ready to move forward in this energy after healing, after a period of healing here. Okay. And I believe, the Divine Feminine is the one that was mostly in the dark here. And the Masculine knows that. A lot of it is that, they were trying to spare us, not hurt us any more than we already have or were. And not to say that we didn't do anything to hurt them. However, oftentimes with these third-party situations, it can be really complicated. So I feel like in terms of the Chariot, they want me to raise this up here. Look at the World card. Yeah. He's worried that, she's had enough and she's done, and she's been very forgiving, but at the same time, we're no joke. We have held our counterparts accountable. We are living our best life, people in this wave anyhow are people that would have, really taken the time to heal and focus on their lives and improve their lives in all areas. Okay. while holding space for their counterpart, and that's not easy to do. Okay, so they often worry that, you know, she's going to be like, okay, I've had enough and I'm just going to leave. But she's okay. She's okay. To her, like, she knows this is going on. She's good. You know, it's behind her. And it's important, and it's time to move forward. The Judgment's here. The Divine's saying, enough. You know, it's time. When that angel sounds the horn of judgment, it's time. When it's time, it's time. And getting that it's time for a while. So another message here is, I wish I never let you go, and I have gotten rid of all of the I've gotten rid of all the karmics in my life and the things like that would belong to them and their belongings. So let's just say that, you know, there was any kind of residual items that were hanging around the home, you know, in preparation. I think I was talking about them preparing the space or something like that in the beginning. That's interesting, that they would be getting rid of all those things because there's no attachment to it anymore. I'm getting that any romantic interests have been removed for quite some time. Now, there would have been periods where these karmics tried to return, you know, and that was tests. And if they allowed contact in any capacity, not that there was any reconciliation of any kind, but let's just say they were still talking a little bit, or they were still helping them out, or there was still like debts of some kind, financial ties to be sorted out, or who knows, you know, I don't know. It could be anything that they're clearing out, like residual stuff that would be left over, because say they invite the feminine to the home, they wouldn't want those things to be there, you know, because it's in the past. It's like a cleanup. And again, until that conversation happens, they have no way to know really where the feminine stands and doesn't want to take any chance to upset. Okay, and there's no issues or ties that I can feel to these things. It's literally like a purge, and it's just like I'm seeing a big garbage bag and they're just going around and picking up stuff. And this is like a New Year's thing too. We often clean up to make room for all the new things that we received, right? So it's like a clearing for those reasons. I see here another message. My health has improved. I know you heal me. And there's a message that we are protected and safeguarded by Archangel Michael, and he's been there helping us with this healing process, especially with the masculines, because, you know, he would be a great support and really understand what masculines go through. So I feel like Archangel Michael's been very close with them and will stay right by their side until they reach their full potential here. So I'm channeling now intuitively that they're ready to come forward. They're ready to step into the light. That's why that chariot is standing up. Yeah, I before this came up, I heard he letting go, and then I heard she let go. So typically for me in my readings, the Queen of Wands represents the other person, the other party if there's karmic partners. And she's okay. Like, she'll survive. She'll be all right. It was very difficult for them for a very long time. They had a really hard time letting go, but I've been channeling for the last few days a little bit of their energy, and they don't want this song and dance and Groundhog Day and be stuck on the karmic wheel, the hamster wheel, I call it. You know, they don't want that either. You know, and they are reflecting back, and they are struggling still from a heart space, because it is sad. But you see this masculine here, he's like, okay, I'm moving on here. I'm done. And I've tried all of this, and I'm not focusing on any of this stuff anymore. And the feminine's also holding space, and she's looking towards her guides, intuitively staying connected to source to really hold space in all the ways that she knows how, in order to best prepare to receive this masculine who's coming here. So let's do one more cut here. There's the Chariot. So we're going to safeguard that Chariot's energy, because that's communication, that's imminent, that's really close to coming in here. And we're gonna, one more message. Wow. You can trust me. I hear trust me to do the right thing. And I'm hearing that they're connected to Source as well in a really lovely way now. They really understand that they need to take care of themselves spiritually. And they want to be able to show the feminine that the feminine can trust them. They know the feminine has sacrificed a lot and that she deserves more than they've provided so far. Okay. And I'm hearing that they're near. I'm near. They want it to be perfect. Perfect in the sense that they want to present their best selves and do the best that they can. They've juggled a lot for a long time. That's what put them in the Nine of Swords as well. They had a lot to manage. But that Chariot energy is really well balanced there. The waxing and the waning crescent moons, you see that there? And there's trust. I'm hearing the word trust again. Look how healthy looking that flower is. There's a Buddhist teaching with the wheel, forget what it's called. It's 8 teachings within this wheel. I apologize, I can't remember. I'm not a Buddhist. I don't practice that, those spiritual teachings, but I was very curious at a certain stage in my journey, and I was connecting with Lord Buddha's energy and meditation for a very short period of time, and I was channeling a lot of those teachings at the time. So I believe it's the energy of 8, and 8 came up this morning as strength, right? So the counterparts are well supported in terms of their foundation, and even with all of these spiritual teachings and the understanding of what they require to really become healthy and whole spiritually. I believe both counterparts have done that, but in their own separate ways, and that's okay. And I sense that when they come together, they're going to be excited to share those separate journeys with one another and what they've each learned and what brought them to this current space of feeling whole again, feeling happy, and just very curious about each other, and will be happy to share, you know, also from a heart space, those feelings that have been held in such a sacred way for a very long time. So one last angel message here. And it's be patient, all is well. And you know you can do it. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So on that note, I bid you farewell. Sending all love and light. Good luck.